Rocky Top Insider instant reaction to Tennessee baseball's 4-1 victory here in day 2 of the College World Series Finals over Texas A&M. Tennessee evens the series, forcing a deciding Game 3 that'll take place Monday night here in Charles Schwab Field for the national championship. Ryan, this is a heck of a game from Tennessee today. Back-to-back 2-run frames in the 7th and 8th propelled them to the win. It was kind of stalemate there for a long time after Texas A&M had a first-inning homer to take that early lead, but the two names to know, well, there's a couple of names to know, but the two big names to know to me for today are Dylan Dreiling and Aaron Combs.
Yeah, I thought you were going to go in a different direction.
Did you think I was going to go?
I thought you were just going to say Dreiling and Cal Stark.
Well, Tennessee already had the lead in the 8th when Cal Stark hit his 2-run homer, and I just don't think they would have relinquished it. The way the pitchers they had, the way Combs was throwing, Snead still able to come in, and he did in the 9th, just felt like they still would have won.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. The first two guys got on in the 9th inning. It's a completely different field of the game if it's a 1-run game as compared to 3. But, Dreiling definitely, I just think from the standpoint, if he finally broke through that wall for Tennessee, and it was 16 with runners on base at that point, straining the bases loaded, and I think the
Twice.
2nd and 4th inning.
Yeah. Moore and Burke.
Yeah, Moore and Burke, so, your top two guys at the plate in those at-bats, and a number of other opportunities where they had scoring, runner on second in the first inning with Dreiling up, and they don't get a run in. It just felt like it was a lot of agony for Tennessee at the plate and a lot of frustration. And that inning felt a lot of the same because so many of those innings, Tennessee got their leadoff guy on, couldn't do anything with it. Christian Moore worked a leadoff walk in the 7th inning, tagged up to second on a flat Blake Burke fly out. Yeah. Then Billy Amick flies out. And it's like, all right, here it is. Here it is again. Tennessee doesn't do anything, and then Dreiling doesn't really tie the game. But like you said, a no doubt 2-run homer. So that one was absolutely massive. And it just felt like it relieved a ton of pressure off of Tennessee's shoulders.
Yeah, I think it was, like you said, 0-16 with runners on. Was it 0-6 with runners in scoring position?
I think that's the case, yeah.
6 or 8, something like that. We don't have a box score. But, yeah, so Tennessee was struggling to come up with clutch hitting, but there was going to be a guy to break that barrier and to come up with a big clutch hit. It was going to be Dylan Dreiling. He comes through every single time in a big moment. It is uncanny.
Yeah, no, it really is crazy. And it's one of those things that, he's a 2-year guy, so he'll be playing professional baseball next year. And it's kind of what you'll almost remember about him the most because even last year when he was mostly a guy that played off the bench, he had those moments and those really good pinch hit at bats and the home run against Vanderbilt that helped turn the season around. So you're right. It feels like he comes through in every big moment. It felt rare in that first inning when he didn't get the big hit with a runner in scoring position with a chance to give Tennessee the early lead. And that was just a huge swing. And obviously I think the defining moment you would point to in this game.
Yeah, Tennessee really struggled against Chris Cortez. Cortez didn't dominate Tennessee's lineup. I thought they did a good job of mostly putting together some solid ABs to work his pitch count up. He didn't cruise for 6 innings or anything like that, but Chris Cortez pretty much shut down Tennessee, and once they were able to get him out of the game, A&M brought a freshman in who about had 8.3 ERA.
Somewhere in that range.
It's kind of risky, I thought, for them to go to him. Maybe there was a better option. Of course, Aschenbeck threw last night, but Tennessee finally able to get to that freshman with Dreiling and Stark.
Yeah, I know they were, and I thought it was interesting how they kept him in for a while after Dreiling. He got out of the inning, he got to 2 outs in the next inning when Stark hit that home run, and 0-16 in number. Cal Stark was 0-16 in the College World Series. I think 9 strikeouts. He'd been bad at the plate earlier in the game.
Grounded into
the whole big double play that because I guess the story of that situation, Tennessee was bunting, and then he got, I think, a 2-1 count. They took the bunt play off. He grounds in a double play. And as Tony Vitello said postgame, I wanted to throw myself off a ledge at that point. So not a good day for him at the plate. Bad week for him at the plate. He did have a huge back pick at first base, as he's done a lot this year to get Tennessee out of, I guess, the 5th inning when they made that beam to Combs handoff. But he has the big swing, and again, obviously Tennessee doesn't give up any other runs, but I think that home run completely changed the feel of the game and gave Tennessee a lot of comfort.
Well, I know we talked about this after Southern Miss, may have also after Evansville. He homered in both the regional and the super, but this is kind of what Stark does. He can be so bad for so long, then he runs into one and has a big homer in a big spot, and it's almost it's a tough conversation with Cal Stark. There's a lot of people who think the negatives outweigh the positives, some vice versa. Of course, he's great defensively, great leader, great relationship with the pitchers, but that is valuable that he is able to have moments like that.
Yeah, it is, and it's the joke that it feels like every Cal Stark at bat ends strikeout, walk, or home run, and more strikeouts than any of the others.
Or hit by pitch.
Or hit by pitch, yeah. but it's just, I don't know, we need to look at the numbers, but his extra base hits compared to, he's not a guy that hits singles, it doesn't feel like. He's not going to hit a single. But that was a big swing, and then, yeah, to kind of pivot to, I guess, the pitching side of it, and you said Combs, yeah, it felt like he was the biggest arm for Tennessee, and, you know, you talk about throughout the year, we covered this long baseball season, and you know so much is going to come down to the postseason, and like we talk about, you're nitpicking things, you're observing things, and it felt like Aaron Combs for a while was not having a very good year. In the middle of SEC play, he got on a tear, and he was just dominant. And then it felt like late in SEC play, and we talked about it at the time, there were some outings where he didn't have his best stuff, but he got through and was good. And to me, it felt like that again today. His command of his fastball wasn't great. He obviously comes in a jam he didn't create, gets him out of it with 2 on. And in 2 of the other innings he pitches, I believe, there's 2 guys on base, and he leaves 2 stranded. So for him to put up 4 innings pitched, no earned runs, I think maybe 3 hits, 2 walks, and 5 Ks, and just a lot of traffic on the base paths. And he wasn't overly dominant, but he was really, really effective in a game Tennessee needed him to be.
Yeah, he's usually good for about 60 pitches. I think it always works best when it goes directly from beam to Combs. I don't know if there's something to that, but it feels like those two, or really Combs and just the pitching day in itself, always goes better when it's just transition from beam to Combs like it was today. But yeah, I thought Combs, what he did today, because Tennessee was not able to put it together offensively enough, and you know, Combs not letting anything get out of control, and to keep A&M at 1 run, which felt so crucial. Because if it felt like if A&M was going to score again, Tennessee may be donezo, but he kept him at 1.
Yeah, no, I mean, the one with all the missed opportunities, the 1-run lead felt huge, and it felt like if anything else happens, this is going to be, you know, not insurmountable, but at least a big, big blow mentally.
Let me ask you, when Cal started grounding double plays, you think Tennessee was going to lose? Like, was that the moment where you told yourself, man, I just don't know if it's going to happen?
No, I mean, I think that moment of I don't know if it's going to happen was earlier. It was maybe the second base is loaded time. And I don't think there was, to me, an ever moment was like, all right, Tennessee is not going to win this game. It's over. Because it was a 1-run game. And you said it. They didn't have any real success off Cortez, but they made him work. They got him from the game pretty early. And it's what we've said all week. It would have felt shaky if Ashenbeck got back in the game, even as much as he threw yesterday. But it just felt like with maybe the limitations of number of arms A&M had, it felt like Tennessee was going to have continue to have their chances. But it was another gut punch, to Tennessee, and it felt like just another opportunity Tennessee missed. It certainly didn't feel good for Tennessee at that moment.
By the way, thing on Cal Stark, next day B, when he hit his homer, all he needed was a spray, was to stick him. That's all he needed.
That's all he needed.
Saved the day.
Yep.
Flinging the bat to the net, sprays it down.
It's true.
Jack's 2-run homer. That's all he needed. Going into tomorrow, Xander Sechrist starting for Tennessee. Nate Snead's going to be able to provide some extended relief if needed, I think. Got to feel good if you're Tennessee at this point.
Yeah, I think you got to feel good just from a guy in Xander that you really trust, and a guy in Snead who hasn't been taxed too much this weekend. I don't know, he probably threw 15 and 20 pitches maybe to get the final 3 outs of the game today. But you got to feel good about those guys, and I think maybe in some ways A&M's pitching, even though they use some of their bullets, they're better guys. I've continued to kind of be impressed by it, the way they've been able to hold down Tennessee's lineup and continue what they did the first half of the College World Series against the best offense in the country. So it'll be interesting. I'm sure Ashenbeck will be available now, pretty taxed. I imagine Prager will be available.
Lampkin will start, right?
Lampkin would almost certainly start. He hasn't thrown anything, and he was really good in Game 3 or the second game against Florida, their third game in the first half of the College World Series. So A&M's got good arms too, and it's baseball, baby, and it's Game 3 with everything on the line. I think it can go either way, but certainly there's a lot of confidence for Tennessee in what they have in Xander.
Well, only one more game will be played this baseball season. It's almost crazy to think about, but definitely only going to be one more game. Tennessee going to be playing for it all tomorrow night at Charles Schwab Field against Texas A&M with old Xander Sechrist on the mound. Tennessee gets it done, 4-1 over Texas A&M. For Ryan, I'm Jack. We'll see you next time.